Hey crafty friends, Christina here with you today to show this fun fold card, kind of unique with a little triangle side flaps. All right, so here are the supplies that you're going to need to create this along with me. The card that I designed here is with the new Got Candy Halloween stamp set. And then I also utilized our stitch square frames. That's how I got this centerpiece, this black stitch square. These are actually really fun because not only does it do the main square piece, but it does a border along with it. So the one cut, you get two cuts out of it. So you can use that either with this project or with another one. So super fun. And then the pieces of paper that you're going to need are, you're going to need a standard A2 size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 cardstock piece. And I've done that in a black cardstock. And then you're going to need a piece that's just 1/4 inch smaller, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I have this in our white daisy. You're going to need 2 pieces of pattern paper that measure 3 inches wide by 4 inches long, and then I have scored both of them along the 3-inch side at 1 inch. So you've got a 1-inch side and then 2 inches. So 2 of those. And then again, this is that stitched frame, the square frame that I did. It's the middle size one, but you could do your own cutout. I believe this is like a 2.5 inch, let's see, 2 3/4 inch square. And then I just did a smaller 1/4 inch down from that to go in the center. But like I said, you could do your own cutout, making it a little bit larger. You could do a rectangle, and just something that is going to be your focal point of your card. All right, so I went ahead and did some of the steps that would take more time ahead, just so that they'd be complete. Like I colored in my jack-o'-lantern, and I used our goldenrod stickles to kind of make it look like his carved face is lighting up, so it's all pretty and sparkly. And then these are the colors that I actually colored in with them, were the Tri-Blend Burnt Orange and the Gold Brown shade. So those 2 colors, if you want yours to be the same. And then I've also used our 0.01 journaling black pen just to add some stitching to kind of tie in that black color on both the inside of the card as well as this focal point. All right, so it's actually a pretty easy concept to do. What I'd recommend you do is go ahead and fold that 1-inch score line that you've already created. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually create a triangle formation here. We're going to be folding down to that score line. And you could, if you wanted to, you could actually score, if you were concerned about getting it really exact, you could go ahead, since this is 4 inches long, you could do a little tick mark here at 2 inches and then score from that 2-inch mark down to your score line here. And then again, from that 2-inch mark to this end of the score line. And that would help you create your folds here, but you could just do it like I did by hand. It's gonna, you know, it doesn't need to be exactly precise. It's gonna work out no matter what, but if you feel more comfortable doing that, then by all means, that's another way to achieve it. So you're gonna do that with the second one as well. Just kind of eyeball it, and then once you kind of get them balanced, then just go ahead and push down the sides like so. Okay, so now what I would recommend you do is I would recommend that you miter the ends of these. It's just gonna give it a little bit smoother, so nothing peeks out. And so what that means, if you're not familiar with mitering, is you're just cutting like a small little sliver of a triangle. As you can see, it kind of just angles in. So that way, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually be gluing that back tab to that neutral, the white daisy piece here on that score line. That's what we're ultimately going to be doing. And by mitering it, it just makes sure that you don't have anything poking through on the ends. So that's just a handy little tip that you can do. Oops, and you want to repeat that with the second side. It doesn't need to be precise. It's just a quick little snip. Just move these out of the way. Okay, so then before we glue those onto the white daisy, we're just going to go ahead and glue these triangle flap sides down so that it doesn't keep opening, so that it keeps that form. So there's one, and then your second one. Again, you don't want to go past that 1-inch score line because that's what we're going to be gluing to the other piece. Okay, so now you see how it keeps that formation. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put adhesive on this flap. and we're going to glue that so that it's flush up against that and balanced so that it's just the same length as the cardstock. So now we're kind of hiding the mechanics of that. Right, and we'll do the second one. Again, lining it up so that it's right along that seam and it's balanced on the two ends. And just go ahead and push that down so you get a good contact. So from here, what I'd recommend is you go ahead and if you want to add your little dots, your little doodling, you can do that now, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. You could do complete straight lines, you could do dots and lines like I'm doing. You could do a couple wavy lines. It's completely what you want to make of it. I just decided to do more dots because it ties in nicely with the dotted paper that I'm using. So it's always kind of fun to tie things together. And there we go. So that's my inside. And then, like I said, I've already done my focal point here just to speed up things, but I'm going to go ahead and continue that same concept of the doodles around this so that it matches with the inside of my card. Oops. And then this final side, just like that. Okay, so then what we can do is we can go ahead and glue this piece to the center of the die cut, the black cardstock. Like so. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this piece to the center of the black cardstock. That way it hides these flaps that we glued on the back. You can see how that mitering did really help, so there's no extra bulk there on the edges, nothing peeking through. So it's centered. That. All right, and then the final step is that we're going to go ahead and we want this to be in the center. So keep in mind, you're only going to want a little bit of adhesive here, because if you have too much, then it's going to make it so that the recipient can't open this flap, because it'll keep that flap closed. So what I would recommend you do is to use like a like score tape like I'm going to do here, or a tape runner, something where you can just put a little bit, but it's strong enough and it doesn't take a long time to get a good contact, a good hold. You could even use a 3D foam dot if you want a little bit more depth, more height on your focal point. And that would help you stay within the constraints of the space that you have here for your adhesive. So you can just go ahead and center that on there. Push down so you get good contact. And then there you have it. Cute, fun fold with these triangles, some nice visual appeal. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that you try it out yourself. And until next time, stay crafty.